Want to be happier, free, and have an abundance of prosperity? Start by restructure your mind. You can also reinforce experiences, both positive and negative, by thinking about them. For instance, you can learn to be afraid of heights even if you've never fallen from a height. How? By constantly thinking about how bad it might be to fall from a height. In other words, if you keep imagining that falling must be dangerous, and if you tell yourself things like "those railings don't look safe," then you can cause yourself to be afraid. What's more, is that each time you think something like this and then stay away from the height as a result, you are essentially reinforcing that belief just as though you had fallen. So the idea is to use the principles of behaviorism but to combine these with the cognitive aspect. That means not only using elements like reassociation but also thinking cures. Cognitive behavioral therapy then takes behavioralism and applies the idea that you can also reinforce experiences, both positive and negative, by thinking about them. For instance, you can learn to be afraid of heights even if you've never fallen from a height. How? By constantly thinking about how bad it might be to fall from a height. In other words, if you keep imagining that falling must be dangerous, and if you tell yourself things like "those railings don't look safe," then you can cause yourself to be afraid. So one example of this is to use mindfulness meditation. Simply by choosing not to let your thoughts and emotions affect you, you can become less controlled by them and thereby less susceptible to your own fears and ruminations. But there are many more aspects to this too, and these tend to fall under the heading of cognitive restructuring, or in other words, changing your thoughts. One example is something called thought challenging. Here, you simply break down one of your thoughts or beliefs and thereby assess just how accurate it is. For instance, you might find that you are afraid of talking public because you think people will laugh at you if you stutter. This is a debilitating belief that is ironically making you much more likely to stutter. So what you need to do in order to overcome this is to look at the thought and ask, is it realistic? What you'll find 90% of the time is that this belief is unlikely and unfounded. Most people would not be harsh enough to laugh at you if you stuttered, and even if they did, it wouldn't matter because you wouldn't see them again. So now you know how to use mindfulness and you know how to use cognitive restructuring. Hopefully you've also been able to guess how the two might be linked. We use mindfulness in order to identify the negative thoughts, and then we apply cognitive restructuring in order to change them. This has been used for a while now in order to treat things like phobias, anxiety disorders, addictions, and much more. But what if you don't have any of those problems and you're completely fine? Well, in that case, we can still use cognitive restructuring. Because the thing is, you can actually use cognitive restructuring to improve aspects of your thought process that aren't broken. In other words, this isn't just a tool for healing but also a tool for self-improvement. And there are countless ways you can use it to make yourself calmer, more confident, and more productive. Likewise, there are many things that are similar to cognitive restructuring but don't technically fall under the same heading. We'll be returning to this concept more in future, but for now, let's look at some alternative ways to control your thought patterns and some alternative motivations for doing it. Fear setting. Often we think of fear and anxiety as being short-term responses to situations or stimuli. But in fact, our fear and anxiety can be much longer term and affect our decision-making, goal setting, and decisions. Tim Ferriss proposes a concept called fear setting in his book The 4-Hour Workweek as a tool you can use to overcome your fears and thereby start getting what you want out of life. Let's say you're thinking of starting a new job, taking a career break so you can go traveling, or starting your own business. You've been thinking of doing these things for a long while, but the problem is that you're too afraid to do it because you think you'll end up without a job or without a partner. Surely if you leave your current job to go traveling, you won't be able to get a job on your return. And the longer you're unemployed, the more unemployable you'll become. Eventually your partner will become sick and tired of scraping by because of a stupid decision you made, and they'll leave you. Then your house will be repossessed. And then you'll end up homeless and alone. That might all sound very over the top, but this is the kind of thing we actually think on an unconscious level all the time. And the reason we think it is that humans are naturally very risk-averse. We evolved in the wild where risk would generally mean lions. As such, we learn to become more sensitive to risk and to defend our assets more than we go after new assets. But today risk is very rarely anything life-threatening. More likely, risk will mean getting shouted at, but we blow it out of proportion because we're risk-averse people. By now, you should hopefully be able to guess what's coming next. Thought challenging. We're going to take these beliefs and fears and challenge them by looking at just how realistic they are. And Tim Ferriss' technique is perfect for this. So first, think about what it is you want to do and why you want to do it. Now think about all the things that are right now holding you back from taking the plunge and giving it a go. If we're talking about taking a career break, then your list of fears and reasons might look like so. 1. Now's not a good time. You don't have much money. 2. You don't want to leave your partner for that long. 3. You're afraid your job won't be there when you get back. 4. You're afraid you won't be able to find subsequent employment. 5. You're afraid that you might ultimately end up destitute, in debt or homeless. Now let's assess each of these beliefs. To do that, we're looking not only at how likely they are but also how you'd cope if it were to happen. Think of contingencies and things you can do to prevent them from being likely. 6. Now's not a good time. You don't have much money. 7. There's never actually a good time, and if you travel smart you don't need much money. 8. You can work online while you travel. 9. You actually won't need that much money. 10. Now is probably better than later. 11. You don't want to leave your partner for that long. They probably don't mind. 12. If it's important to you, then it's something you have to do. 13. It's preferable to feeling resentful toward your partner because they prevented you from seeing the world. 14. You're afraid your job won't be there when you get back. 15. It probably will be. Discuss with your employer. 17. Do you love your job that much? 18. You're afraid you won't be able to find subsequent employment. 19. This is highly unlikely. If you're skilled, then travel will simply add to your CV. 20. You could even find a new job and agree to start later on. 21. If necessary, then you can take a part-time job or start a side business to tide yourself over. 22. You're afraid that you might ultimately end up destitute, in debt or homeless. 23. You can live on savings a long time. 24. You can earn money in other ways. 25. You probably have parents or friends who would take you in long before you went homeless. Now think about the alternative. Do you want to never go traveling? Do you want to spend every single day stuck in that office without ever accomplishing the things you want to accomplish? Let this motivate you more than the fear, and now make the decision to take the plunge. The same technique can help you to make the decision to start a new career, to move country, or to do all the countless other things that you've been dreaming of doing. Remove the fear and date anyone. So in this case we've used thought challenging again to break down our fears so that we can go after whatever we want in life. But another method you can use is to acknowledge those fears as real, but just find a strategy that minimizes the risk. In this section, we'll look at a technique you can use this to do in dating that will give you the confidence to approach and date everyone. So let's say that you're the average awkward guy, for argument's sake. You go to bars regularly with friends hoping to pull, but you're too afraid to approach the people on the dance floor. Why? Because you're worried they'll reject you and you'll thus end up feeling incredibly awkward. That's a genuine concern, although we could ask why it matters, so it's hard to deny it out of hand. The simple solution? Minimize the risk and remove your likelihood of failing. To do this, you can simply assess the situation before you approach anyone. So hang back away from the bar and chat with friends. As you do, just look around the place for people you're interested in, and if you see someone, smile at them while making eye contact. If they're interested, then you can bet they're going to smile back. If they're absolutely not interested, they'll probably just look away and you'll know about it. But in either situation, you haven't lost faith and you can still hold your head high. There's nothing to be afraid of. If they've smiled though, then you can probably relatively safely approach them. That doesn't mean they're necessarily into you, but it means they at least are open to the idea of chatting with you. So the next step is to head over in your group of friends to talk to their group of friends. Don't speak to them only, speak to the whole group so you simply come across as someone friendly, outgoing and interesting. Likewise, let your friends mingle with their friends too. When you get a moment, try to spend a bit more time chatting with the person you were initially interested in and who gave you the go-ahead to come over. If conversation is going well with the person you're interested in, then you can step it up one more notch by simply offering to buy them a drink. This is a very clear signal that you're interested in them, and so they probably won't say yes unless they're interested back. Now they're away, you can talk to them on their own and assess the situation. Finally, ask if they want to dance. And if they say yes, take the same approach, dance more and more closely until eventually you're completely sure it's okay to make the move. In this situation, you have now approached someone attractive in a bar, but at no point is there any danger of rejection. If they don't want to talk to you, they won't smile. If they aren't interested when you come over, they'll make excuses and you can talk to their friends. If they change their minds, they can say no to the drink. If you're giving off the wrong signals, then they can say no to the dance. But at no point have you embarrassed yourself and you haven't done anything that you can't bounce back from. Think about other things that you're afraid to do in your life, assess why it is you're afraid, and then think of ways you can get around that fear by avoiding the worst-case scenarios. Thank you for watching the VEDIO. Please like and subscribe for more videos.